Honorable Speaker, I had paid a courtesy call to the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and my senior here is trying to distract me. Honorable Speaker, I rise, I rise to request.
Conga, you shall not distract Jerry. Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to request for a statement regarding the death of the 23 persons after consuming illicit brew in Kirinyaga County. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the death of 23 persons after consuming illicit brew in Kangai Village, Kirinyaga County. Honorable Speaker, over the years, the country has witnessed various incidences where people lose their lives after consuming illicit and adulterated alcoholic drinks. The most recent occurrence happened in Kangai Village in Kirinyaga County on 6th of February 2024, where 23 persons died while several others lost their sight after consuming illicit alcohol suspected to have expired and with a high concentration of ethanol. It is feared that the death toll may rise since conditions of victims who are receiving treatment has been deteriorating. Honorable Speaker, there has been an escalation of trade in illicit and adulterated liquor, proliferation of counterfeit alcoholic brands, mushrooming of liquor outlets operating without proper licensing, increase in underage drinking, and the rise in deaths attributable to illicit liquor in the country. The situation calls for strict implementation of the regulatory framework on alcoholic promotions, licensing, and treatment and rehabilitation of addicts as provided for under the Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2010 in order to mitigate the adverse effects of illicit brews. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. Could the chairperson provide a report regarding the status of investigations into deaths of the victims of the illicit brew in Kangai Village, Kirinyaga County in February 2024? Could the chairperson provide information on whether the owners of the outlets from where the brew was obtained have been apprehended and prosecuted? And could the chairperson explain the measures the government has put in place to ensure strict compliance with Alcoholic Drinks Control Act 2010 and effective implementation of alcohol control policies in regions mostly affected by consumption of illicit brews? I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Jerry. Tongoyo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On the issue of the statement, I will ask for 2 weeks to get a response from the ministry. But, Mr. Speaker, I want just to say one thing.
I will not give you 2 weeks.
Sorry?
I will not give you 2 weeks. I'll give you 1 week. 23 lives lost.
Well guided, Mr. Speaker.
You should be having facts with you within the shortest time possible.
Well guided, Speaker. But I want just to say one thing, Mr. Speaker. Actually, the issue of these menace of alcohol and killing Kenyans is becoming an issue that should concern all of us, Mr. Speaker. The issue, as much as we want to say is the issue of the ministry and the police, we all know the issue of the licensing of illicit of these brews is a function of the county. And it's an issue that we must actually start conversation, Mr. Speaker. No, just let me finish. What I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, we have a big problem that we must, as a house, start looking our laws, because the Constitution, the 2010 Constitution, referred the function of licensing to the counties. And that is what probably is giving our officers even a hard time to enforce such kind of so it's an issue that a conversation that we should start as this house, Mr. Speaker. But 1 week obliged, Mr. Speaker.
Junet.
Mr. Speaker, I listened to the chair carefully, Mr. Speaker, and he's saying that the licensing of bars is a function of county government. But, Mr. Speaker, county governments license bars. They don't license illicit brews. They don't license changa. They don't license. This is an issue of enforcement of the law, Mr. Speaker, and it squarely lies with the Ministry of Interior and Provincial Administration, Mr. Speaker. And as you directed, let the chairman produce an answer in 1 week, Mr. Speaker. Let us not scapegoat that this county, it is an issue of enforcement of the law, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Rendikiri. Order, honorable members, the conversations are too loud.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the chairman of security is out of order because this is death we are talking about. And the brew they took came from the police station, which is within his mandate. And that's what the Honorable Women Rep of Kirinyaga is talking about. So you cannot now run away from his responsibility. Let him go get down to the business and give us the correct content. He should not divert our attention.
Thank you. Majority Leader, I'll give you.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I am constrained but to agree with the member for Buri and the Honorable Junet that indeed there is absolutely nothing wrong with counties licensing bars. This particular incident in Kirinyaga, Honorable Speaker, and maybe the chair is not aware, already officers, police officers, have been arrested and charged in court because they stole exhibits that were being stored in a police station and sold them to the person now who sold this alcohol to people in a bar. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the problem is not just a problem that we can point at the county governments in terms of licensing of bars. It begins with law enforcement by the police. And Honorable Speaker, the chair, as a person oversighting the police, must be emphatic in ensuring that his committee summons the Inspector General of Police to say what they are going to do to ensure that the police indeed do their work in enforcing the law as it is. Secondly, and more importantly, Honorable Speaker, I am hoping that the chair, other than pointing fingers, will take this opportunity through the committee in charge of Interior to now draft a national government level legislation touching on the licensing of manufacturers of alcohol, because that will not be left to the county government. It is up to us, and that is what I would have wanted to hear the chair speak to, that his committee now will draft legislation that will regulate. How do you even regulate the movement of ethanol and methanol in this country? Because, Honorable Speaker, this, what we are calling illicit brews, are not illicit brews. It is simply ethanol and methanol being mixed with water and being sold to people as alcohol. And that is what our committee in charge of Interior should be working on, legislation that will ensure that we regulate who sells ethanol, how is it sold. Because, Honorable Speaker, the sale of ethanol is one of the most lucrative illicit trade. The road between Namanga and Nairobi, Honorable Speaker, is the entire corridor is a scene of crime. And the chair should know, from the Namanga border to Nairobi is an entire scene of crime. Every other truck, I hear even Isabania in Migori, every truck that you find on that road is carrying ethanol in drums. This ethanol is disguised with onions and tomatoes. And the police know, Honorable Speaker, if you want to be the OCPD Kajiado today, you have to know people in Vigilance House here to be deployed in Kajiado, because it is the most lucrative place to be in because of this illicit trade. Therefore, the chair should not be taking us in the scapegoating of this county government and that county government. We must deal with the problem where it is. The problem is with the police, enforcement of law, and also this House has an obligation through the committee to make sure that we have legislation that regulates the sale of ethanol and methanol. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Oundo.
Thank you, Speaker. Let me also take this opportunity to sympathize with the lost souls because of consuming illicit brew. Honorable Speaker, there is danger of branding some local brews to become illicit brew for simply because people have lost lives in other places. Honorable Speaker, yes, the licensing of bars is the mandate of the county government, but beyond that, the enforcement, the production and the rest, square lies to the Ministry of Health and the relevant ministry in the national security organs. Honorable Speaker, in where I come from, we have a very local gin, very pure local gin, Honorable Speaker, manufactured in very hygienic conditions, and we have never had any challenges.
Honorable Undo, what you are calling gin is in fact an outlawed drink called changa.
No, Honorable Speaker.
Yes.
It's not called changa.
Yes.
We call it nguri, Honorable Speaker. And it's a very clear and clean gin.
Go and read the definition of changa in the Changa Prohibition Act.
And Honorable Speaker, if you go to my constituency, we have no shortage of kids. We have no shortage of pregnant women. So honestly, Speaker, we do not want the mess that has happened in central Kenya to be applied blanket application the entire country to eliminate our national pastime in our community. Honorable Speaker, let regions deal with their problems as they arise and not have a national condemnation of local brews. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Order, Honorable Undo, for avoidance of doubt. Under the Changa Prohibition Act, Changa is described as enguli, machwara, machozi ya simba, kill me quick, or any other spirituous liquor, howsoever described. So it is not a local brew that is defendable. Yes, Mukunji will be the last on this. Yes, there's a point of order, Mukunji. Let me hear Raso first. Raso, is it a point of order or you want to make a contribution? Pardon? Mukunji, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I just want to thank Honorable Jerry Kirinyaga County for this important statement. And I want to say, Honorable Speaker, if this National Assembly cannot act when 23 lives have been lost, Honorable Speaker, I don't think there is any other important time to act on this issue. Honorable Speaker, I want to agree with the majority leader that police officers are part and parcel of the thriving ethanol trade. And Honorable Speaker, it has gotten to a point where we really have to call it to order, Honorable Speaker. I want to see, Honorable Speaker, a stoppage of importation of ethanol until, Honorable Speaker, we know who are doing this work and are they even paying taxes. And Honorable Speaker, we have made billionaires out of ethanol trade. And these people have become too powerful that they are able to buy the police force from top to bottom. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, we have lost lives in Kirinyaga. We might continue losing lives. And Honorable Speaker, our young people, our generation that is behind us is in serious danger if this assembly does not act. We have to put laws and ensure we don't allow populations to thrive in drunkenness. And Honorable Speaker, when you meet a drunk person, that person is actually sick and is not actually a bad person. But Honorable Speaker, we are treating the symptoms instead of treating the disease. The people who are selling poison in this country are the people that are well known, and we have to go for them without fear or anything. Because, Honorable Speaker, if we don't do that, the population behind us is going to judge us in a very, very serious way. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
We'll end there on this. Oraso, I had promised to give you 1 minute. I'll give you 1 minute, Dawood 1 minute, and Mudoni 1 minute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I support the statement that is being sought by Honorable Njeri. Those are fundamental issues. I believe even the chairman is not